Hello festival goers of the internet, I'm the Festival Finesser, and today we are going to be doing something we have not done in a long time, a festival review for Elements Fest. I just got back from this festival about a week or two ago, and I feel like I didn't vlog this festival as much as I could have and usually do, so I thought it would be just as good to do a little review, share my thoughts, my experiences, both good and bad, talking about things ranging from the campgrounds, the venue, the production, the vibes, the security, and everything in between. So if that is of any interest to you, don't go anywhere because it's all coming up after the intro.
Can I get it?
Festival Finesser.
Finesse gang, can I get a yeah? What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another video. For those who are new here and don't know me, what's good? I'm the Festival Finesser. I'm a videographer, content creator, and DJ. This is my YouTube channel that involves about music festivals and live going experiences with a focus and concentration on dubstep and rhythm. And my goal is to help you guys have the best festival experience you can possibly have by sharing experience, education, and knowledge. So today, I'm hopefully going to be doing that by sharing some information and knowledge and my experience about Elements Fest. I went as an artist, my first time going to the festival at all. We went Thursday to Sunday. There are vlogs on the channel, and in this video, I have a bunch of points that I kind of use for a general festival review, talking about, you know, production, stages, camping, you know, we're gonna talk about all that stuff in this video. But before I talk about and get into these points, I want to talk about my general knowledge of this festival prior and just kind of my expectations and, you know, the vibe I kind of got off of it. So originally I found out about Elements Fest through some bad publicity. You know, it was never really on my radar, probably because it's not a very heavy dubstep festival. And when you look at the lineup, it looks like a lot of small artists, a lot of artists I've never heard of personally, maybe just because I'm so niche, you know, into the dubstep and bass side of things. But it doesn't come off as a dubstep festival. It almost doesn't even come off as a bass festival. You know, it's very kind of diverse. A little bit of here, a little bit there, a lot of house, a lot of techno, a lot of jam, funk band kind of stuff, you know, so it definitely is electronic. Like I said, it's a little bit of everything, and I feel like that's kind of cool because it brings just a bunch of different people. This is a very close festival. It's 90 minutes from my house, and I can't believe, well, now it's 90 minutes. It's always been in PA, I'm pretty sure. They moved around a lot, but this year I was definitely, like, satisfied on the location. Granted, I hadn't been to any prior, so I don't have any experience to, like, say if it was better or worse, but I don't really have any complaints about the venue. It was close, it was easy to get to, the traffic control was pretty minimal. My expectations going into this festival, like I said, I thought it was going to be smaller, more local, you know, just like one main stage and maybe some smaller stages, and kind of like everybody would kind of be at that one hub, you know, most of the day, seeing all the big artists pass through, and you know, not really having any conflicts. And you know, as I got closer, when I started seeing the lineup and the app and like my name being on the app, and I was like, oh shit, like this is gonna maybe bigger than, like, more legit than I was expecting. And then when we got there, I was like, oh shit, like we're really out here at a festival. This is an established, legit festival with dozens of thousands of people, probably like 20,000 people at least. And, you know, 5 stages, you know, top tier production, and just like, and it was very immersive. It had all of like the elements, no pun intended, of like your kind of electric forest, where it has like, you know, the porta potty speakeasy, and it had like frick frack blackjack, and, you know, it had like drag shows on some of the stages, and it was just like a very kind of like slow paced festival. It wasn't like something like Lost Lands or Ever After, where it's just like go go go, get there, and it's just like sets all day, there's just music and going crazy. And no, there was none of that. It was wake up and chill, and there's a set at 5 and a set at 9, and we're gonna just vibe in between and chill in the hammocks, and like nobody was ever in a rush. And it was just a very kind of like chill paced festival. Even in the crowd, everybody was vibing. There weren't really any mosh pits. There wasn't even really music to mosh to. I think the heaviest set of the whole weekend was Brie Bellatrix, and that was like some of the only times there were mosh pits, like at her set and my set. It definitely like has that mainstream festival appeal. It's massive, it's big, it's immersive, there's a lot of people, the stages are huge, and there's just a lot of things to do. There's a lot of activities, and like I said, it's very immersive. So definitely blew my expectations out of the water. I thought I was gonna be playing to like, you know, 100 people maybe in a very spaced out crowd, and it was a packed out crowd, 500 people probably, and like biggest crowd I ever played for, best like crowd energy I ever had, and just crowd engagement. And like I'm just super grateful that I got to play, and I will always talk about that set because that was the first time that I really got to like feel like I was an artist, you know, like I was a DJ, like people came for me, you know, like I wasn't just some dude playing music for y'all, like y'all came to see me, and y'all, like, it showed. So that was fucking sick. And yeah, you guys can see my set in the video. We're not here to talk about that. So now that I gave you guys my thoughts and what I was expecting, we can talk about what are we going to talk about first? I guess we could talk about the arrival. So there was a lot of talk about security when we were getting there, and there was a lot of hype on Radiate and Reddit and Facebook talking about, you know, security was ripping cars apart and it was taking forever and the line wasn't moving and there was canines. And you know, that was just, honestly, it seemed like that was a lot of hype and a lot of talk. And granted, like, security is going to be different for everybody. It's going to be different every time you go. And it's going to be different depending on what kind of security guard you get. It's also going to be different based on, like, how packed your car is, how you look, how you act, you know, how you just, you know, there's a bunch of things that go into how security can, you know, go. So it's gonna be different for everybody, so you should always keep that in mind when reading things like that, because it was just like regular security, you know. They opened up our trunks, they went through the glove box, went through the center console, opened up some bags, you know, and just like felt around, you know. They didn't even look in our cooler because we were like, yeah, we got no glass, our pickles are in a plastic jar, you could see. And like, you know, it was just so buried that it was just like, you know, we didn't seem sketchy. We seemed like we knew what we were doing. What was intimidating though with the dog presence, man, like they were just walking up and down, you know, like probably like at least 5 handlers walking up and down the aisle, sniffing the RVs, just walking around cars, not even telling you what they're doing. They're just like sniffing your car. So we initiated a conversation with one, and you know, he's like, any drugs in the car, any bombs, any weapons? And we're like, nah, bro, what? Like, why would anybody admit to that, first of all, you know? But that's what I'm saying. They're checking your how you act, your body language, all that kind of stuff, how you respond and whatever. And so we started talking to him, and he was like, yeah, this is just a bomb dog. He's sniffing for, you know, weapons and you know, guns basically and bombs. It's not a drug dog, but there are drug dogs here. But he even said like, we're looking for pounds of weed and meth, you know, we're not here to like ruin. He didn't say we're not here to ruin anybody's day, but that's what the vibe it seemed like they were just there to keep us safe. But it definitely was intimidating, and I definitely did see people talking about they got their weed taken and blah blah blah, and they found, you know, some of the canines found meth. So like, I get it, they're doing their job, keeping us safe. After security, we checked in, and it was pretty smooth from there. The campgrounds are massive, and it's kind of traditional, you know, camping. You know, we're out in a field, it was flat, it was grassy, it was nice. Grass was a little overgrown, but like, whatever, I'm not going to complain about that. Just an observation again. But what I found very confusing was just the layout of the festival, or the campgrounds. Because we were inside the Pocono Raceway, it was just basically you're inside a circle, you know, camping inside and at the perimeter of the racetrack. And, you know, you basically have the grandstands on your left and the grandstands on your right. So like, all you have to do is be in the middle and turn around, and the shit looks exactly the same. You can lose your direction so easily. And what's also confusing is there's markers, 21, 25, 26, and you're thinking that's to mark your campsite, but that's actually for the racetrack and for the car, like the car numbers. Like, you know, we were in campsite 21 and our homie was inside campsite 22, but they were not near each other. So that was very confusing trying to get back. We've never done this, but we put lights around the flagpole, and that was the illest totem to get back to camp. You know, once you figure it out, you know, that it was not for the campgrounds, and it didn't really make sense. They were just kind of like landmarks at that point. But I had a little bit of time, learning the campgrounds. Oh, going the wrong way as usual. And I pretty much went one way to the festival each day. And because it was, like I said, everything was kind of far apart. It was just very spaced out. It was probably like at least a 15-minute walk to the festival grounds each day. And, you know, the bathrooms were not exactly like, you know, a jump and a skip away. The campground, like, you know, Vendor Village, Main Street was in kind of like one space. You know, they had like a main space for vendors, kind of like on the way to the entrance. And then they had like kind of like almost like a food court, you know, in the campgrounds, like a quad just of food vendors, general store, and a place you can just like get food. So it wasn't really scattered like, you know, in some campgrounds. So again, an observation, it was just kind of like if you wanted to get something, you had to go to the main spot. And, you know, similar to like, you know, Shakedown Street, Vendor Village, Main Street, like it kind of had that vibe. But I do like it when there is like a little something scattered in the campground just to get something close for convenience, because it seemed like I was walking everywhere mad far all the time. Also, going off of how big and long, you know, how far everything was, it took me so long to get to the box office. The box office was like outside of the festival grounds. It's something you definitely should do when you are making your way in a car nonetheless, you know, because I did it on foot. And thank God I had a one wheel, thanks to my homie, because it would have taken me easily an hour there and back, 2-hour trip to go to the box office. And, you know, kind of piggybacking into our next thing here, I feel like the knowledge of this festival was not the best. It didn't seem like everybody was on the same page, or communication was like communicating up the chain fast enough, because I was in and saw several situations where somebody asked a question to somebody working, and they had to leave their post to go ask somebody else at a different post, and then that person was already helping somebody, and then like the same thing was happening on the other side. Like somebody was like, oh shit, let me ask this person, I don't have that answer, and it would go to like their lead contact or like their supervisor, and then sometimes he didn't even have the answer. So now this one guy is helping 3 people, and everyone's waiting, and now everybody online is waiting for that person to. And it was just a very kind of like frustrating and time-consuming thing, and you could feel like the stress and the tension on everybody, because it's like they're doing their best behind the desk and we're doing our best to be patient, but it's like everyone's just getting there. We just traveled, we just unpacked, and now we have to continue to wait and get our situations figured out. Again, I was understanding, and it was, you know, something that I just kind of like dealt with. You know, I was like, I know it's gonna take some time. I did a lot of time for this, so I just kind of like ate it, and I was very thankful for the one wheel, because it made everything so much less like of a project. You know, I was just in and out. But what was also crazy too, just to find the box office, I had to ask like 4 different security guards, and it was kind of like, I think it's that way, and then it was like, just ask the next person you see when you're going that way. And like, you know, I finally got like, gate 4, and then like they told me I had to like go out of the festival, go onto the street, and like not the first gate but the second gate, and I'm like, damn, like I'm already deep from my campsite, you want me to go deeper? And like I said, thank God for that one wheel, bro. I was cruising down the road to get to the box office. The festival grounds are definitely massive, but the campgrounds are definitely vibey. Lots of late night Renegade, like official and unofficial stuff happening. You know, LEDs, projectors, like this one, they had this big ass like inflatable dome. And they were just like super legit. CDJs, 4 decks, you know, lights. It was a vibe, and those were bumping like every night from 2 to 6. Even I didn't really see it past 6 because I was asleep, but I'm sure it went till like 8 a.m. It was just very vibey, very electric. It gave me Electric Forest vibes for sure. Bree said that in the video.
Very Electric Forest vibes. Electric Forest vibes.
She said that when we were like, you know, in the forest, and the forest is lit up, and there's lights strung around all the trees, and you know, it's very vibey, immersive, and you know, interactive almost. So definitely nice grounds, nice area. The ground is very rocky in the festival. It definitely has like a Legend Valley, like Lost Lands vibe, just gravel, rocks, chunky rocks. You know what I'm saying? But you know, the forest, dirt, mud when it rained, so it was definitely a little bit of some rough terrain. You know, shoes got dirty, feet got wet, but for the most part, like, definitely satisfied with the experience being in the festival and the campgrounds. You know, talk about the production of things and like the music and the stages. So with elements, each stage is themed and kind of carries a different vibe. So you have the fire stage and the earth stage, which is like your 2 main stages. And these are more like upbeat, bassy acts. You know, these have the LEDs, they shoot fire, they have the CO2, the lasers, all that kind of stuff. And then into the woods, into the forest, you have the air stage and the water stage. And these stages were more like housey, jam bandy, funky kind of stuff. Some of these stages also served as like activity, like hubs. You know, I'm pretty sure there's like a drag race, not a drag race. What do they call it? A drag show? A drag show. There was a whole bunch of activities on that stage that I saw later on. I didn't even know about half the stuff that was going on. There was a lot going on. It was crazy. There was a lot to do, like when the festival was not happening. And even though like I said, it was slow paced, there was a point in time where, like, for my set on Friday, it was 7 p.m. and there was only one other artist playing. Of 5 stages, there was the local stage, the Wub stage, and the main stage. And that fucking Wub stage was fucking lit at 7 o'clock. So that's everybody that came through. That stage, I feel like, really focused on sound, because it was just like, you know, some projections and like kind of like, I guess, like a stage. I don't even know what you would call it. Stage format, stage layout. It was just like a big like sculpture thing, and you know, big ass nice speaker stack, man. That shit cranked. I don't know how people were sitting in front of that, like, for any set, because I like, it was just so loud, and it was like bass shaking, like the bass would shake your chest. And even during Subtronics, you know, after all the rain and everything, it was Skrillex and Subtronics playing at the same time, and I really wanted to see a little bit of Subtronics than end with Skrillex. And because most people were at Skrillex, Subtronics was easy to get to. We got like front and center so easily. Like, definitely the least or less crowded the crowd had been, because prior to that, like, that was not what I wanted to talk about. The crowd was so crowded. Like, it seemed like most of the time it was fucking always crowded everywhere. And just when you were in the crowd, it was not hard to maneuver, but like for me, someone who like wants a good spot and needs a good view, I was just always battling totems and people on shoulders and like the production booth. And like, you know, it was really kind of hard to get front and center with nothing in my way, and that's also why I kind of gave up on some of the vlogs and filming as hard, because I was really struggling. And that's why it's really good to have that like media access, photo pit, backstage, on stage, you know, like that's where the content really comes in. But yeah, at Subtronics, we got so close, and you know, on the first drop, like I looked at my homie and I was like, damn, I feel that in my chest. Like I hadn't felt that since the first time I saw Excision at PlayStation Theater, bro. Like that's what it reminded me of. And I looked at him after like 3 drops and I was like, yo, you want to move back a little bit, because this is uncomfortable. And in the vlog I mentioned that like you could hear that it's just like blown out, and it actually like ruined some of the footage. So I'm glad that I did that and was able to, you know, salvage some footage and like make the vlog, you know, fluent and make sense. Yeah, so there's definitely no complaints on the sound. That's something that you actually kind of have to kind of control yourself, whether you have earplugs or how close or far you want to be. Like that's coming from me. It was uncomfortable being close. So that's how you know that shit is bumping. But yeah, those are the overall vibes. Chill, like slow paced, relaxed, you know, and just like, I don't know, it's very vibey, very like, I keep using the word immersive because it just really does not feel like the real world. It feels like a different place, and it captivates you, and it really kind of makes you feel like you're in your element. Again, no pun intended. It kind of had that like festival chaos, you know, at certain points where it was like, damn, there's a lot going on right now. And you know, there's 3 stages going on, there's fireworks over here, and like people are walking by this way, and it's just like, it was not a small festival by any means. It was not a local festival by any means. It is like, you know, the real deal, top notch, top tier. I definitely would imagine people traveled like long and far for this, and like, I don't get how I have never been prior, and it's in my own backyard. I'll definitely be back because it has that festival appeal so close to my house, and it's not a city fest by any means. It is a vibe. It is heady. So I think those are all the points that I really could mention. And I had a great time. You guys can check it out in the vlogs. And I wish the music was a little bit more to my liking, but the experience, the vibe, you know, like it checks most of my boxes. You know, it's good campgrounds, immersive, it's active. And you know, like I said, I just wish there was more about music, but I also like how you can enjoy yourself a little bit and not be in the festival at 2 o'clock till 10 o'clock just at sets all day. You get to, you know, see a little bit of this, see a little bit of that, hang out here, take a nap there, buy something over here, check something out over here, you know, like you have time to do things. And I like that, and I feel like I did a lot of that and didn't capture a lot of it, you know, and that's something I should do at a first time festival. But the longer I've been doing this stuff, you know, like I kind of know what to and not film. And with this festival, I wasn't really working for the festival, I was working for myself. And as you guys know, I enjoyed myself a little bit too much if you saw the vlogs. So a lot of stuff was like in the moment, homie shit, you know, and like not everything needs to be filmed, not everything needs to be on camera. So that is my thoughts, my experience, my review. I had a great time. I will definitely be back, and I hope to play again, man, because that was one of the best performances and crowds I've ever played for, and one of the best experiences I've had as the Festival of Finesser. So if you're watching this, let's go next year. You know what I'm saying? Like all the local homies, we should do a group camp, a vibe village, Finesse Gang, Renegade, Sound Camp. What's up? You know? So thank you guys for watching. If you haven't checked out the vlogs, definitely do so. Bunch of, you know, my friends, myself featured in there, local shit, mainstream acts, Skrillex, Subtronics, Peekaboo, LS Dream, and Day 2 alone. And yeah, it was a vibe, it was a fun time, and I wish I captured it better. Alright, I'm sorry. But thank you guys for watching on the Festival of Finesser. If you guys have any information, any insight, your little review, any things that I missed that should be noted, feel free to drop them in the comments and turn it into a little forum, you know, discussion board, and make it a resource for people to know and learn and educate, you know, off experience, so we can all have the best experience possible going forward. Thank you guys for watching. I'm the Festival of Finesser. Love y'all. Peace out.